So hey, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be celebrating my veganiversary. I can't say it. Veganiversary. I don't even know if that's a word or if I made it up. Maybe it is a word, I don't know. I feel like I'm not clever enough to make that up. I've been a vegan a whole year now. Yeah, it was sometime last April. I don't remember exactly when, but I know it was around Easter last year. This video is basically going to be me just talking about my veganism, the whys, the whats, the hows, the whens, the whatevers. Yeah, I feel like I haven't really, although I've made it blatantly obvious from some of my other videos, you might know, that I am vegan, just because obviously I use all cruelty-free makeup and I don't wear leather and stuff like that. I've never really gone into depth or just spoken about this topic on its own on my channel before, just because I feel like I wanted to get to that 1 year mark. Not that I felt like I was like less entitled or anything. Personally, I just wanted to wait before, you know, I had my say on it. But it is something that I'm really passionate about. Like, I love animals and I care about the environment and stuff like that. So I am going to do this video, so let me just jump right in. I'm going to start with the first thing. I have some notes just to kind of help me not ramble. Start with why I went vegan. So I went vegan for the main kind of 3 reasons that anybody really goes vegan, and that is the environment, health and animal rights. So I'll start off with a little bit about the environment. So if you don't know already, which I think in 2018 you're either dumb or ignorant not to know, without sounding really terrible, like meat production, dairy production, basically how we get meat, dairy, poultry, all of that is one of the biggest contributing factors to climate change. And you know, I just again think it's really ignorant if you don't care about climate change. Like, it's literally the 12th of April and it's still like 10 degrees and there's no leaves on the trees outside basically, and I don't know if that does make you sad. Like, so yeah, for me, I've kind of always had a care and an interest about the environment. Like, when I was a kid, I had this book and I was like obsessed with like natural disasters and how they happened, and I think as soon as I realised that like meat was such a big contributing factor, like I think that was the big push for me to go vegan, because I was vegetarian before, like I knew like the actual damage that it did, but I think that was my big push to be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go vegan. And I know like a lot of people say, you know, like, oh, but you're just one person. Like, if we all, like if every single person in the world who has ever made a change said, oh, but I'm just one person, like life would be so different right now. But there is actually this website, I will try and leave a link down below if I can find it, but it basically calculates how many animals that you have saved, and I think it maybe does something to do with like fossil fuel greenhouse gases, but that you have kind of, it basically shows you your change to the world. So, you know, I think just even since going vegan, like I've become more compassionate and more like aware of when I do eat, like what I'm doing and the impact that it's having. So even if I am just one person, like at least I know I'm making a change, you know? We'll go on to animal rights. So obviously, again, I feel like this is linked with the environment. Like, if you know anything about how meat is produced, especially in the States, then you know that like it's very inhumane for the animals, but also for the workers. Like, a lot of like illegal workers kind of imported from Mexico, paid poorly, but it's the only job that they can get to live in America and stuff like that. Just watch the documentary Fooding, because all I'm kind of really going to say on that. But at the end of the day, you know, I feel like a lot of people like brush it off in Ireland like we do with most problems and say that's not our problem, we have great meat here. But at the end of the day, the animal still goes to the slaughterhouse, and that's just not really, like, I don't really want to eat a dead animal who has suffered, you know. Same with dairy, like baby cows are snatched from their mothers, and for me that's just, I just don't want to support that, you know. I don't want to give my money to that. So yeah, so then I'm going to move on to the final and probably most broad topic for me when it comes to my veganism, is my health. Because I have always kind of been like really passionate about like health and nutrition, like since a young age. I've like always been into like eating healthy foods. Okay, so yeah, so to get onto my health, as I said, I've always kind of been into health and nutrition. Like it's just always kind of been something I, you know, have been into. Like I even looked at doing it in college, which thank God I didn't end up doing. So many health benefits to a vegan diet, like, you know, if you even watch What the Health, I know a lot of people slate that documentary and say like the facts aren't real and everything, but at the end of the day, like most of the diseases that are like the world's biggest problems, like heart disease, like diabetes, obesity, like all of those come from the foods that we eat, you know. So if you can eat a diet that's either gonna treat or prevent those, then I just don't understand why you would. And the thing is like since I've been vegan, like I have never felt healthier, and there's just so much nutrition. And just don't get me wrong, I know there is people that go vegan and live off a bag of chips every night, you know, like there's people that do it wrong, but most people, I feel like if you're eating a plant-based diet, like, and you're eating loads of vegetables and loads of just like beans, like lentils, like I eat a lot of tofu as well, or tempeh, like if you're eating foods like that have literally come from the earth, then like you're gonna be healthy. To be honest myself, like, and I will get back onto this when I talk about supplements, because I didn't actually start taking a supplement until very recently, but even well before I took supplements, like genuinely did not even have a head cold. And that's coming from me who like used to like step outside and I'd get tonsillitis, like I would get sick every 3 months. And since going vegan, like I think the last time I was sick, touch wood if I can find any, was December 2016, which was right before I kind of went vegan. I feel like those three are kind of the main reasons why you would maybe want to go vegan. So you want to help the environment, you want to improve your own health, and you want to obviously save the animals because they deserve it, you know. But I'm going to talk about my own vegan story. So I first actually went vegetarian when I was 7. But that lasted for about 3 weeks anyway, and then my mom was like, okay, like my mom works full-time, and she was like, no, like I'm not cooking separate meals, and I don't expect a childminder to for you either. Yeah, then that lasted about 3 weeks, and then when I was 14 kind of started to learn to cook for myself, because I did home ec in school and stuff, and again was starting to become more aware of like health and nutrition and stuff, and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna start cooking my own meals, because that was just something I wanted to do. So I did that, and when I kind of went pescatarian first, I ate a lot of fish at first. I only ate fish the odd time, but like I still did eat fish. So that was from about the age of 14. And then when I was 16, I was diagnosed with anorexia, and then fast forward about 3 to 4 months after my initial diagnosis, I went into hospital. And for the first like while I was in hospital, like they were fine with me being vegetarian. They were like, yeah, that's totally fine. But then like there was like 3 other girls on the eating disorder that were vegetarian, and then a few other people that were on the eating disorder program would just start getting the vegetarian meals. They then, because we all started eating the vegetarian meals, brought in this ban that if you were on the eating disorder program, you were only allowed 3 vegetarian meals a week, which was shit. I ended up going on this strike for a while. I was like, fuck this. I hid myself in wardrobes, like didn't even drink water, and then like I would eat some of my meals but like leave the meat. So then they brought in this rule that you had to have a piece of each portion in order to be able to get your weekend leave. So again, was still on strike and hadn't been home in 3 weekends, and my dad was like, okay, look, we need to come up with some sort of solution here. So my dad said to me, like, if you eat meat, like even just chicken, we'll buy you a dog. So here's the dog. I find it really weird that I had to eat an animal to get a beautiful, precious little animal. But yeah, that was the agreement we came to, and I got my weekend leave and I got my dog, and I ate like meat for while I was in recovery, and for like most of the time that I was kind of like recovered. Then it was about 2 years ago, I was like, okay, I'm going to go vegetarian again. I just think I was like, I've never liked meat. Like for me, I think maybe I'm like a born vegan or something, I don't know, but like I've never liked meat. So I said to my mum about 2 years ago, I'm going vegetarian again, and she was like, oh my god, are you sick again? And I was like, no, like genuinely I'm fine, like I know what I'm doing. I didn't really know what I was doing, because about 6 months later I kind of fell into like a really bad place. I was like stressed and stuff like that, and I ended up losing a lot of weight. But I don't actually put that down to the diet itself. I put that down to my own mindset. I just wasn't in a good place. I wasn't looking after myself. Still vegetarian, was going to the doctor. She didn't really say anything about the meat this time, because I think like everyone had just kind of accepted I'm not going to eat meat again. My mom started saying like this time last year, she was like, look, you can't go to Asia the way you are. Like I don't know what's going to happen if you go, kind of thing. So I was like, right, I need to kind of figure something out that's going to work for me. And that was when I was like, okay, you know what, like I'm gonna try veganism. So I did, and you know what, for a long time, like I feel like veganism was the thing that made me, like I was like, oh my god, like I'm so excited to try all these new foods and stuff like that. And like started trying loads of new foods, like bought a cookbook, was like cooking new recipes and stuff like that, and ate loads of new foods, and I did get much healthier again. I gained a bit of weight. My mum was happy to let me go off to Asia. I lost about a stone while I was there, but to be honest, like I was restricting, but I don't put that down to a vegan diet. I just put it down to traveling and the long hours, and part of me, like the first, I would say 4 weeks I wasn't trying, and then like people started saying it to me back home. They would text me and be like, are you okay, you look really thin. And I was like, oh my god, like have I lost weight? And then it was just really easy from there to be like, grand, I'm gonna lose loads more weight. Because when I came home, like, and I think this is why I hate the hospital so much for banning the vegetarian meals, because when I came home I was like, okay, like I need to like bite this in the head, like for good, like I need to be healthy. I was like, right, I'm gonna eat really healthy but still be vegan, still get enough calories, I'm gonna exercise. And I was like, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna get a bum but to do that I need to eat loads of food. So I just think since then I've just been having like 3 like solid, really healthy meals every day. I do have the odd like cheat where I'll have like sweet potato fries or whatever. But the thing is that I feel like now when I have like a cheat meal, like I don't feel guilty. This bad relationship with food, like being vegan, like I have this great relationship with food for like the first time ever. And the thing is like, because it's been a full year now, like I don't miss any of the old foods. The hardest thing was cheese, and the thing that I did was I just allowed myself like 3 days a week where I would have cheese, and with 1 meal a week, or 1 meal on one of those days. And then it got to a point where I was like, okay, you know what, like I'm not eating cheese anymore because I like it, I'm eating it because I'm allowed to have it. And so I think, you know, if you want to like, you know, maybe try veganism or vegetarianism, like that's maybe a good way to go about it, because I just think if you go like full blown like cold turkey, like your body is just gonna crave all of the things that you're depriving it of. Although when you do eventually get used to it, you realize that there's this like whole new world of amazing food, and I think that's for me why I don't miss any of the old foods. So I think the final thing I was going to talk about then was supplements, because I only recently started taking a B12 supplement. I have noticed a difference in my energy level. B12 is basically iron, and B12, despite what people say about being like, oh, you're not going to get enough protein as a vegan, it's all bullshit. Like, trust me, like if I can gain a stone of muscle, like I think it's all muscle anyway, but if I can gain a stone like between September and now, like you can get enough from a vegan diet. B12 is basically the only thing that you can't get from a vegan diet, because it's in like meat and fish and dairy and eggs and stuff like that. So it is important if you're gonna go vegan to get a supplement. As I said, I haven't been sick since I went vegan, and I only recently started taking the supplements. I really The only thing I noticed was like, even if I got 8 hours sleep, like I would be exhausted throughout the day. So that was why I got it. But yeah, I'm now no longer tired, and I feel like since going vegan, like I'm just much happier, much healthier. I have a better relationship with food, and you know, I think like if you can find a diet that allows you to have that, and I just feel like because I know I'm putting good stuff into my body, I feel so much more like happy with my body, even though I have days where I look in the mirror and have an actual breakdown, but 9 times out of 10 I'm happy with the way I look. I think if you can find something that allows you to have that, like it's amazing. And for me it just happened to be veganism, and it just happened that it helps the planet, it helps animals, and it helps me. But yeah, like I hope that like this video hasn't come across too like forceful, or you know, the thing is like if you tell someone to do something, they're not going to do it. You need to give them a reason to want to do it. And yeah, I just kind of hope that this video has done that for you, because I know when I was like on the fence about going vegan, I watched a lot of videos like these and I was like, okay, like it seems like that's a really nice way to live, and the thing is it really is. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one, and goodbye.